Well, there's a little look as I fog over my glasses from it being already ridiculously humid outside, but that's a little look this morning at my routine on the golf green. Although I don't do this every day as far as dew removal. I just came down here today and it was still very, very wet, and it's about 9:30 right now, so that means it's definitely probably time to get the water off of it if I can. So I did that. Just a pretty easy walk through there. It's looking a lot better right now. In the past week, it got a little stressed from some mowing that I was doing. I did lower the cut just slightly too, and I believe that it was just my mower needs to be sharpened. So at some point you can backlap and do all that stuff, but you're gonna notice a point where it just needs a good grind on there to get it to cut the way that you want it to. So I have a backup machine that's completely sharp, and I got that on here, and within a couple days I can notice a big difference as far as looks back to the way that it was before, and nice and clean when you're mowing, and the next day looks beautiful. So I'm really, really happy with where it's at right now. We're about to obviously get to mid-July here on the first year of this grass. The first summer on any cool season grass after you plant is always pretty much the most stressful time, just because trying to get it through all of that stress on that first season, try to get the roots to be as healthy as they can going into the fall, and then that's going to be getting it prepared for the winter to put it to sleep. And all of this stuff just seems to keep moving quicker to where the time just flies by and it's going to be fall before we know it. So that's just how it goes. The other thing that was causing some stress on the green was I had some cutworm issues, and I didn't get any sort of preventative on it this spring, just a lot of different things going on. But as soon as I noticed some birds were on there constantly making holes and pecking for some things, I showed a few people and they were definitely like, yeah, I'm pretty positive it's cutworms. So I got some acetyloprin put down on there right away as soon as I noticed it, and it seems to be better now. But I'm still putting this little owl out because I do see just some bird poop on there this morning when I was just taking that dew off. So I know there's still been some birds on there probably overnight, but I don't see the holes that I did as far as them digging at it anymore, and the surface looks good. So I think I'm in the clear, hopefully. But I'm still setting this thing out just a little bit here and there. And it also just happens to be funny to look at when I come down here and freak out and think, what the heck is on the, oh yeah, okay. Just a quick little insert here to tell you as well that we have started our pre-renovation season grass seed sale. So if you're gearing up for some fall projects here or late summer projects coming up that you need some grass seed for, this would be the time to go ahead and get that. I will have the information down in the description as well as in the pinned comment. So check that out, and thanks for all the support. And then I want to show you quickly a couple other problem areas that I'm having right now. We had another big rainstorm the other night, which I am not mad about because it's been such a dry past couple seasons here, but my weather station said that we had 1.29 inches in 20 minutes. And it was raining so hard that I have never seen it rain like that since we've lived here. Got this photo amidst the lightning that was going on to use that as my light to see how badly things were flooding. There was water rushing everywhere down here towards the green. The green was flooded. But the green I have been extremely impressed by. We had 2 channels in it basically funneling towards the back corner. As far as drying out, it has been really good. Came down here, a good way to check as far as the green goes is to go look in the cup and see if there's any water in there. And by the next day, by the time I got down here and looked, there was no water in there. But I do have a few other problem areas here where water is just coming straight out of the ground. Water table is so high. That's exactly why we have that little mound back there too, which is our well. Down here, there is a lot of water. I did a little work to capture a lot of it into that pond that comes rushing down the hill. So that was full, completely full to the top and actually going over the side little spillway that I made. It's still leaking though a little bit, so probably gonna try to fix that in the winter time, maybe make it slightly bigger, try to capture even more of that field if I can. There's still water here, but as you come up this way, this is days later here. You can see water just coming out of the ground right about here is where it starts, somewhere in here. Like, look how much water is still right here. So, what that has caused, especially in this fescue, you can actually see it right now. Got Pythium, literally like every fungus you can pretty much think of is going on here, and there's just really nothing I can do about it just because it's sitting in this wetness all of the time. Let it play out as it will. I mean, of course I could come in here and try to spray and spray and spray, but we got another possible storm coming in the next couple days. This is just gonna stay wet, and it is what it is. That's just how the life of growing grass goes sometimes. I've showed you this before too, but this is always a good indicator. I always leave this open after storms to see how much water is still sitting in there. So basically the water table is maybe like an inch or two below the ground right up here. But as you go farther down in elevation, that's where I'm having more of the problems. The other upcoming project, maybe, as you can see, shipping container. I talked about that in one of the last videos. I'm looking at swapping this one out for a newer one. I think I have that figured out. We're gonna find out soon, and then basically just trading this one in. Also have a plan now, I think, of how I'm gonna do this down here with the clubhouse. I think I'm gonna keep the shipping container as more of equipment storage, just things that you don't want to have all this dirty sand-filled equipment and grass-filled equipment going into the clubhouse area. So I think I might do something a little different. I'll reveal that later once I figure it out. But there's just a little drainage ditch here that I'm considering adding on to this culvert right here, extending it down all the way till I get to about the grass, and then filling this in, and then I'd be able to move this container back and give myself some room. So I have extra room up here, push that container back as far as it can go up against the driveway. I'd have room up here then for the actual clubhouse, make it a little bit more fancy maybe. So this is essentially my little spillway. As soon as it gets up to, it's gonna get up to that height over there. It's actually about 4 or 5 inches below. So then it comes out naturally right over here. I got this little trench made. It just works out through here if it needs to come over and flood. Got that little fountain thing off Amazon for pretty cheap, and it's actually worked very, very well. So if you got a pool or something like that and not a very big fountain, I think it works great, and it is lit. So at night it does have a light in it. That is why you wear gloves with pond dye, unless you want this all over your hands and looking like a Smurf for quite some time. I really honestly believe that this is very similar to the marking dye that you can use for spraying, because that stuff doesn't come off very easy either. The other thing I'm doing on a daily basis, especially with all this rain that we've had, is mowing, and mowing. So somewhere I'm mowing pretty much every single day. Today I am down in our little camp section here, and things are really looking good for the middle of the summer. This is the Elite Tall Fescue down in the shade section. It's in some dense shade. It's looking good, really looking good everywhere. I've applied no fertilizer to anything this season, and I think I maybe did one app last year down here. So pretty much it just takes care of itself, and I don't do too much, just come down here and mow it, and that's pretty much it. And then that first section that you saw me mow is a mix between ryegrass and some fine fescue there. That was the shady mix that I put down first, and I believe I've overseeded it once or twice with ryegrass, so it's a mix of those two things together. And also a lot of clover down here, some weeds and stuff, but as I said, I don't worry about it in terms of making this look just 100% perfect as far as grass goes. It's just not anything that I prioritize as far as that, and actually the clover kind of helps mix into here, gives me some nitrogen, and that's why I think it also does so well without me doing much fertilizer. So I don't really mind that too much down here. It just looks kind of like a native area, which I like. Just hit 105 hours on the dot on this thing, and so mowing every day. I'm using this thing pretty much every day, which I absolutely love. I love mowing with this thing. And I can honestly say it's the best mower I have ever used as far as I love my reel mowers, and those are very specific things for different tasks. And if we're talking about reel mowers, you know, it's a different conversation. But as far as rotary mowers go, if you have a property like I have, or you have a larger yard and you're looking for a zero turn, absolutely love this thing. Every day that I say, oh, I need to go mow, and I need to get on the X mark, it puts a smile on my face. So you know something's working there. Quality of cut, mowing at 1.5 inches up on that front fairway, just beautiful. I've had it down to 1 inch with this. And then out here on this fescue, I'm at 3 inches. So easy to change your height. This has the adapt system too, so sometimes I change the pitch of the deck a little bit depending on what I want. So just wanted to mention that because I haven't touched on this thing for a while, and since we are just over 100 hours now, just wanted to share that. I absolutely love it. So a couple quick updates from the spring on projects. You might remember I was down here doing an overseed of tall fescue, and we just had such a dry spring that I just didn't see a lot of germination. Also a very, very cold spring. It's very difficult when the soil is also very, very cold. So I think that I probably will come out here yet this fall. Have one little college reunion coming up here that I'm hosting. So after I finish that, I'll probably do one more overseed now that the soil temps are up. I think it should be a lot easier with some fescue, but the fine fescue down here looking pretty good this season. You can just see with a close-up view there, it's just a little thin. So I think an overseed would help. I'd like to add that tall fescue for a little more traffic resilience, but okay. And one other spring update, if you remember, I dormant seeded over on this side and all the way one path up to the top of that hill back where those trees are, just one path of grass to see how that would do dormant seeding. And then on the left-hand side here where it looks more brown, that is some bluegrass, ryegrass, but mostly ryegrass because the blue was super slow from last fall. I believe that from my results that I've seen many times here, planting ryegrass in the spring is actually advantageous in some senses because a lot of this brown that's over on this side is from the stockiness that it has, especially on the first season after you planted. So again, planted in fall, it's going to have those stalks come out and seed heads come out pretty strong on that first spring. So over here it doesn't have that because it didn't start growing until the start of the spring season. Now right down the middle I have plenty of weeds, lots more weeds than on this side. There's some broadleaf clover and stuff like that, but over here on this side, definitely had a lot of pressure from the weeds because of that spring seeding. However, get the advantage of not having that stalk issue. Now, neither of these have had any fertilizer of any kind. I just decided not going to waste my fertilizer down here on some things that I'm not really manicuring high end yet. So I didn't do anything with that. We're going to go look at that bent grass in a second, but no fertilizer. You can see a much darker color here. Much more on the brown side on this side. All right, so now I'm down standing on this bent grass. It was supposed to be the green, which it has the shape of that, but I'm just not doing it as the green right now because there might be some changes going on down here. But this is being mowed at 2 inches, no fertilizer on this either. It has spread aggressively, even though not having that feeding, but feels a lot like Bermuda. If you've ever been on Bermuda that's not mowed super short, has that very similar feeling, but very soft and very thick. It's actually kind of cool. A little bit different color than the rest of the grasses, a little lighter color to it, but I actually really like it. Well, the sun is starting to go down in the distance. I had a pretty busy afternoon, a couple meetings. Got some landscape cleaned up in the front with Kelsey. We had some weeds and stuff in that front landscape that we've been meaning to get to for a while. Got all that cleaned up, had some ribs on the smoker, so lots of things going on. And as the sun is starting to get low here now, I wanted to play some golf tonight, but Just kind of ran out of time today. And this man here is getting pretty tired by the time we get to the end of the day here most days. So one thing left today, I'm going to put some PGR on the green, and I'm using this product here. I'll show you. One nice thing about it is it's very, very minimal as far as how much you put on for the results that you get. So it's just going to help the plant to do a little bit less top growth, put more of that energy into its roots, and just it works very, very well too on golf greens as far as play, so that things roll a little better and you're not getting so much mowing and constant things going on, especially on grass that's this short. You can be used though on longer turf as well. Probably next year in some areas I might try to utilize this a little more on some of the other turf too. Just helps with the health of it, and also you're just not mowing quite as frequently. But finish the green tonight, take it a little bit easy, and have a little break, and do it all again tomorrow. Who knows what we're going to be up to. Appreciate you hanging out, checking out the video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.